Mo Africa, global money supply is growing at record levels. We've reiterated that when governments print money at record rates, currencies lose their value over time. Whilst precious metals like gold and silver increase in value continuously. However, gold and silver are becoming more expensive and also less accessible, especially silver due to its industrial use. In today's episode, we want to explain a strategy that will allow you to protect and potentially grow your wealth by using the banking system in a currency devaluation scenario. Welcome back to The Money Revolution. This is the podcast where we empower one another to build wealth through the sharing of information and ideas about how money really works. I want to say a very big shout out to our channel sponsor, Stokvel Gold. Stokvel Gold is an authorized dealer in gold and silver that is registered with the Financial Intelligence Center. Stokvel Gold assists us with all of our own gold and silver purchases at the lowest prices that you will get anywhere on the market. Now, if you are interested in commencing your own gold and silver journey, whilst also diversifying your own investment portfolio, make sure to hit the Stokvel Gold link in the episode description below and they will take good care of you. I will once again be your host, Masijela Wagamanzu. And before we go deep in today's episode, I want us to look at an important principle, which is understanding how currency devaluation actually affects debt. And I want us to start firstly with consumer debt. Take a mortgage, for example, right? It has three main components. Firstly, we have the loan amount, the repayment period, and also the interest rate. When currency loses its value, the loan amount and the repayment period effectively stays the same, whereas interest rates may often be adjusted. So historically, what tends to happen is that currency devalues faster than interest rates increase. For instance, in Argentina, back in the 2021 year, a 2,000 rand peso worth of debt would effectively only be worth 84 pesos in real terms by 2025. So what happened there is that inflation reduced the real value of a specific debt, in that case, the 2,000 rand pesos worth of debt. Now, this happened even though interest rates rised at the same time. Now, something that you should understand at this stage is fixed debt versus variable debt. So property debt, like mortgage, can have fixed interest rates, which assists in stabilizing your monthly repayments even when the currency is devalued. So other types of debts, like your credit card debts, your store debts, do not have that same privilege of fixed interest rates. And as a result, they are fully exposed to both inflation and also interest rates fluctuations. So in this scenario, by fixing your mortgage or your bond interest rates, you are effectively maintaining stable repayments while the currency around you loses its value. So what happens is that you effectively reduce the real cost of your debt over time. Now let's look at the principles of currency devaluation and precious metals. Now that we've explored how currency devaluation can affect the real cost of debt, I want us to examine its impact on assets like gold and silver. And this is very exciting for me because over the past 4 years, the prices of both these metals have been rising very, very significantly. And back in October 2021, gold was effectively worth $1,897 per ounce, whereas silver, on the other hand, was only worth $23.38 per ounce. This year, in October, as of October 2025, gold is now worth a whopping $3,977 per ounce, whereas silver has increased to $55 per ounce. These are very, very, very huge increases. In fact, they represent a 109% increase for gold and a 96% increase for silver, on the other hand, over a 4-year period. The key takeaway here, Mo Africa, is that as inflation continues to erode the value of currency and also reduce the real cost of debt, the value of physical assets like your gold and silver continue to rise. Now, this combination creates a very big opportunity to protect and to also grow your wealth during times of currency devaluation. And this is the exact strategy that we want to discuss today in this episode. What does this strategy actually look like? So we refer to it as using the bank's money. Now, let's put this into perspective with a practical example of how this looks like. So based on the gold and silver figures that we have discussed earlier, imagine that you own a property that is valued at 3,000 rands and you only owe 1,000 rands on your mortgage. Now, you decide to take an excess loan of 1,000 rands against the property's value to buy silver. So some people refer to that as refinancing. So here's how it will play itself out. This is the scenario based on those figures that we discussed earlier, and we're putting it back in 2021. So you have a total debt of 2,000 rands, which is the 1,000 rand debt that you owed on the mortgage, plus the refinancing of that 1,000 rands that you took out in the bank. Now, you decide to invest that 1,000 rands into the acquisition of silver. It then means that your net worth is at a -1, which is the 1,000 rand equity minus the 2,000 rands debt. Now, at this point, your position seems to be negative. But let's see how that plays itself out when we use the silver appreciation and also the currency devaluation projection figures that we've reviewed earlier in 2025 October. So based on our projection, inflation devalues the 2,000 rand debt to 84 rands. Now, silver is now worth 2,259 rands, and this is because of the 96% increase from 2021 up until 2025. Now, this means that at the stage, your net worth is effectively worth 2,175, which is the 2,259 minus the 85 rands of the devalued debt. By applying these projections, you have effectively turned a negative 1,000 rand position into a positive 2,175 rands positive position, showing that currency devaluation combined with the precious metal growth can work in your favor. Now, here's a quick recap on this 4-step strategy. First and foremost, you take out an excess loan against your property's equity. We refer to that as refinancing. Secondly, you fix your interest rates to fully stabilize your repayments. The third thing that you do is that you either buy gold or silver, capitalizing on the real growth in value of both metals. The fourth step is that you let currency devaluation reduce the real value of your debt whilst your metals increase in value. Here's a key takeaway for you, Mo Africa. These projections are illustrative, and based on the gold and silver price changes from the previous segment, nearly 109% increase in gold and a 96% increase in silver. These precious metals show you the potential impact of combining strategically debt management with physical metals investments. This strategy in Africa isn't just theory, it's a real way to turn the system's weaknesses into your own strengths. When currencies lose their value and debt becomes cheaper, and this isn't a question of if this will happen, it's whether you will use that moment to grow your wealth or watch your savings disappear. I ask you this question, Africa. Will you keep letting inflation destroy the value of your money, or will you use the bank's money to build real wealth in the form of gold and silver? Once again, Africa, we appreciate you for tuning into this week's episode of The Money Revolution. If this episode opened your eyes, don't just keep it to yourself. Share it with someone that you care about. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so that you never miss out on an episode upload. And also, like this video to help spread the message. Let's wake up the masses. Let's understand how money really works and take back our power, one conversation at a time. And remember, if it's paper, it will perish.